Hey y'all, it's Chantrell with the God Said No YouTube channel. Yes, you're seeing me again. So soon, right? So soon. I'm back on it. I'm starting to feel a little bit like myself again. July was tough. It was very tough. And it was heavy. And I could not give anything because I didn't have anything to give. I didn't. I had nothing to give. Today I want to talk about relationships in life, trauma, tragedy. When Darren suffered his traumatic brain injury, everything changed. Daryl and I was married for 2 years when this happened, and we built a life with Darren. Darren would come and stay with us for quite lengthy time while we were in Washington, and we knew what life was like with him. We didn't know what life was like with a child with severe trauma and disabilities, and now 2 young people with trauma. And so I lost everything one time. When this happened to Darren, we had to pack up and move back home. And I sacrificed myself for the sake of trying to get Darren back to recovery. So it happened in July. We lived in the Ronald McDonald house from July to December. Dal had to report back the beginning of October, so I was in Kentucky by myself from October to December. Dal would come up every weekend when he had a chance, and he was getting the home repaired and doing some specific things also for what we would need it to be like with Darren now. I don't think anybody could imagine the devastation or the trauma of the death of what you knew of your life and your children's life. So that was one hit. It was rough. It was really rough. But we got through that. And I'm going to be completely transparent and honest with you, because God Said No started then, and we had not a clue. Darren was only given a 3% chance of survival. And I remember when they came to talk to Daryl about decisions and the quality of life that Darren would not have, or if he would have a life period. And I seen strength in Daryl when he stood tall and he said, as long as my son is fighting, I'm fighting too. And as my duty as his wife and partner and best friend, it was my job to fight alongside both of them. And that's what I did. So it was hard having a man that already had trauma from childhood, and we were figuring out this life together, and it was fun, it was fresh, it was new. And then it came to a screeching halt with devastation and real stuff. Like, we were 28 years old. We didn't know anything about navigating a healthcare system, being advocates, trachs, G-tubes, making life decisions. We didn't know that. But where my partner was crumbling, I found strength to be his voice, his sounding board, his friend, and his soft place. So those years were hard. But how did we survive that? God showed up in so many ways. God said no at 3%. That's where he showed up. Because had my husband lost Darren then, I don't know if we would even be here right now to tell the story. God said no then. It was so many mercies that was showed up on us. I sacrificed my career to give Darren the best shot at recovery. I gave him 2 years that I took him to nothing but doctor's appointments, therapies three times a week, and doctor's appointments. My life was recovery, and that was difficult, but I felt like that was my mission at the time. And God gave us grace through that whole time. Like, I now can look back and see the moments that God just showed up. We never, ever, ever had a want that was not met. We never saw our family as a one-parent and a one-income-based family. But the accountant in me, some may think because I'm very extra and I do things very extra that I am a frivolous spender. I may spend, but it's not frivolously. I am a deal hunter. I am a deal seeker, and I'm a jack of all trades. So a lot of the things you see, I can do myself. So I was an advocate for us never having one car note at a time. And at the beginning, Dad was like, that's absurd. We make money. I want this. I want that. And I was like, no. We both know what we're good at. Finance is my thing. Daryl has a lot of great things that he's good at. But I am the financial expert. And my heart told me that that wasn't a good decision. Ever. And so we never did that. So people joke and say we have a car lot out in front of our house because we have them, but they're ours. And that's a blessing from God. Because God said no, we needed a van, and we're in the hunt for a wheelchair accessible van because the van we have now, we've never had a van that was accessible, but I cannot believe how much they charge for those things. But I digress. Back. So we're talking about not overextending yourself. And that's what allowed us to be in the position where I could be there for Darren during recovery. Good decisions on buying a home. Good decisions on not overextending yourself vehicle-wise, and only having one was a good decision we made. And we still allowed ourselves to be able to live life. So now we're at a place in our life where we felt stable. We got through the fire. We put it out. It was manageable. We got to a good place. And now we are excited to expand our family. And this means Jackson. And we were excited for all the things that we were robbed of. And here we go again. We're robbed again. How does that show up in relationships? I shut down. I shut down and I shut everybody out. I did not want to talk. I did not want to hear. I did not want to see. I did not want to feel anything from anybody. And it's good when you have relationships where people allow you space and people know the essence of who you are, because people know my heart. And I just couldn't. I couldn't keep reliving the trauma. I couldn't keep reliving the bad. I couldn't keep talking about it. I felt like I couldn't keep putting my heavy on people. So my relationship with Daryl is now very wavy because I have moments of, he told me the other day that I'm sad, and I'm not a sad person. It's just that there are moments that are increasingly hard, and it causes me to have to go into introspect and put my oxygen mask on first. So July was very hard, and I still have specific expectations for my relationships because I can attest, and I want people who are in relationship with me to comment down and tell people organically how I am in relationship with you. I've went through a lot, but I pride myself on showing up for my people in spite of anything. And if anything you learn from this video today, don't let your situation determine who you are. Don't let your sadness take away your life. Don't let your sadness take away your will to live or the will to still be who you are to many people. And even though I am in one of the darkest places of my life, God has called me to still be a light amongst people. Thank you for that. And that challenges me and pulls me out of these dark places because I have a responsibility that He gave me to still be a light, to still show up, to still give myself, to still be that friend, to still be a sister. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have moments of grief, sorrow, brokenness, sadness, total chaos. It's okay to feel those things because we're human and those are human emotions. But how I am organically able to still smile when a year ago my life was massacred. I lost friends. I lost my identity. I lost my relationship again. Dal and I had to start and rebuild again because I had never been through this kind of trauma. He had an upper leg on me because my hurt with Darren was different, because biologically that wasn't my hurt, but I carried Jackson inside of me, so my hurt was different, and the level of my hurt was catastrophic, and so it changed our relationship, and it changed our relationship in several ways. As a man, Daryl focuses on providing and protecting, and in the space that I'm in, I'm craving emotional attachment and reassurance that I'm still the person. I'm not the person that he fell in love with. He's not the person that I fell in love with. But that the core and the essence that we fought to be together for is still there. And it's hard to see sometimes because there's so much. There's only 24 hours in a day, and our boys require care all the time. Like, I do not sleep more than 2 hours at night at a time because Jackson requires suctioning frequently. My PTSD from Jackson leaving me requires, it pulls me to not be able to not check and see if he's breathing quite often. And that affects my relationship. I'm not I'm not the person that I was, but I feel like it makes me more beautiful. I feel like not ever knowing or expecting to be a mom and then being the mom that I am makes me more beautiful, but I don't know how that appears to him. But the things that I crave are being missed because our tragedy is bigger than my needs. What are realistic expectations? So we struggle with that. What are realistic expectations? And I struggle with that throughout all my relationships. Like, what do you really expect from me? And what do I expect for you? Because I wake up at 5 a.m. every day, sometimes earlier because Jackson controls my life. And I do meds, I do breathing treatments. These are for 2 kids. I do diaper changes for 2 kids. I have to do baths, hair washes. Dale has to do haircuts. Dale has to go to work. I still have to prepare meals. I still have to prepare food for both of them. Though they both are dependent on feeding machines, it still has to be done. It's still the sanitary things that need to happen. Everything that I use have to be sanitized. It accounts for that time. I spend more time on the phone with ordering supplies, ordering food for them, making doctor's appointments, dealing with insurance. All of those things account for my day, so that Dale goes to work, and I'm sure it's heavy for him that when we come back together, we're both drained. And so my expectation for him is like, I've been doing this all day, I need a break. But his expectation is he's been doing this all day and he needs a break. And so it can create a level of resentment that we both been doing what we're doing all day and we deserve a break, and neither one of us gets that. So that starts festering and brewing. There's no time left for real check-ins. Like at night, we used to have check-ins for pillow talk and for recovering of our day. We're both exhausted. We're like 2 shifts passing in the night and the day. And it is important in relationships to check in and to communicate your needs and to be seen, to be heard. Are you doing that with your people? That's a challenge that I'm going to issue to everybody. To check in on 3 of your relations with people. To see them. Let them know you see them. You do not know what a message or a call that say, I see you, can do for someone. Pray. Not just say you're going to pray for them. Just go and say, can I pray with you? If God gave you that, do it. Do it, please. To let people know that it's okay to call you. To let people know that it's okay to lean on you. Do that. 3 people. 3 people. Take the time out to, if you're in a romantic relationship, take the time out to plan something. That's elevation. Like, planning means it requires thought. It requires effort. And no matter what it is, it don't have to be anything expensive. It can just be a ice cream date. You go and get Bluebell if you're from the South. Tillamook if you're on the West Coast. And have an ice cream date where you just download, choose toppings, sprinkles, chocolate sauce, and just download it. Ask real questions. Check in. Like, what can I do for you in this relationship? And do it. God said no saved us from divorce before. Divorced Daryl and I. It was like this. And tragedy can do that to you. Tragedy can make the strongest of people break. And this is tragedy twice. And it teeter-totters. It teeter-totters because we hurting different. And we're a year in and that hurt, still hurt. And I've been doing a lot of work on myself. But I'm not going to lump all men into one category. But I'm challenging men to start doing work on themselves too. Therapy is not your enemy. Talking to someone else, even another man that's your friend, or reaching out to someone that is a figure or someone who's been doing what you're doing for a long time, that could save you, save your relationships. It's important. I thank the people for showing up for me and showing support for me, because the experiences that I've had are extreme, and you need people. You need relationships. And so my sister Sundays are very important. My check-ins with my grandfather are very important. My time going to see my grandmother is very important. My dates with my mom is very important. But my dates with God, when he shows up when I'm not expecting him, those are life-changing. And if you don't open your heart or your soul or your ears, you can miss those moments. And I'm asking God to heal my husband's heart. Because if he doesn't do it, I don't know who can. I have a lot of empathy and compassion for him because he's been robbed twice. And he's still standing. How he's operating in that, I don't know, but he's still standing. And my expectations are greater than what he thinks his limits are. And yesterday we did our first video where it didn't feel good. We haven't recorded together in a long time. Because quite frankly, he's camera shy. And it's hard for us. What you see in those moments are real, but what you don't see is real too. We're only 34 and 35 dealing with things that people that probably made it to 90 and 100 have never seen in their life. So flank us, cover us, because that's a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of pressure. It's a lot. I carry a lot that I don't even share. I'm traumatized weekly with appointments that he never has to go to. And he doesn't have to go to them because my work now is to make sure these kids are okay. And God said no. I'm a mamapreneur. And God said no, it's my work. And these boys are my life work. And sometimes I don't feel like that's respected. So, going to these appointments and hearing new diagnoses or reliving old diagnoses or seeing this every day is hard. And I don't always share that because why should we both suffer? Why should we both be re-traumatized? And so there's a level of resentment that I have because I have to carry something that I feel like he doesn't. And I'm sure as a man, he is traumatized because he has this whole pressure on him to carry this family because we never expected to be a family of one income because I did very well for myself, but our situation is changed. And I know that's a lot of pressure, and me constantly still wanting to feel what I feel from him is also a lot of pressure. So we're two volcanoes that erupts at different times, and this is being honest, and it's hard. As beautiful as it is that God is bringing us through, no, the enemy is working just as hard to destroy it. And we're human. And could you imagine going through something so tough with somebody for 9 years and potentially losing your best friend? That's a whole nother grief. That trauma bonds are real. And the potential of being destroyed because of other people's negligence is obscene. It makes me so angry. And it makes me sad that life has gotten a chance to change the course of my life and my relationships. But if I stand in the course of what God told me, He will continue to say no. His grace will be sufficient. His mercy will last forever. And joy will come in the morning. So put one foot in front of the other. You stand tall, you stand strong. Because what I wasn't built for is to quit. So, today at therapy today with Jackson, I checked out last week. I'm checking back in. I'm recharging. I'm re-energizing. And I'm going to show up better in my relationships. I'm going to challenge myself to answer my phone more, even when I'm hurting. I am going to allow people to be my support. I'm going to ask for help when I need it. And I'm going to give the one person who deserves it more grace. I'm going to actively, you know what? I'll talk to you something about my relationship with my mom. This has changed us. Me and my mom used to talk 52 times a day. Now we talk maybe 7. But I didn't recognize her hurt until yesterday. This tragedy affected everybody.